Morris Mini Cooper S, ADO50, 1963–67. The classic Mini Cooper needs no introduction. Famous for the integrity of its engineering, handsome looks and giant-killing handling, it slew all before it, winning praise from drivers, vanquished competitors, pundits, and spectators alike, all of whom have kept it close to their hearts ever since. The original 1961 version was humble, taking the standard Mini's 848cc engine, albeit with a slightly longer stroke, to create the first dedicated Cooper engine, the 997cc. With twin-Sioux carburetors it developed 55 bhp, or 21 bhp more than the engine upon which it was based. This, along with its minuscule curb weight, close ratio gearbox and disc brakes on the front axle, enabled it to humble far more powerful machinery. A shorter stroke, higher revving 998cc Cooper engine arrived in 1964, shortly after the introduction of the high-performance Cooper 1071S, the version that is possibly the most revered Cooper of them all. Only the cognoscenti will spot the relatively discreet S badging front and rear, until the driver hurls the Cooper S at the horizon with unlikely fury on its way to a top speed of 95 miles per hour. Its 70 bhp and 62 pounds-per-foot of torque had only to haul 686 kilograms, which means that not only is it surprisingly quick but its front disc brakes, cooled by ventilated steel wheels, are stunningly effective. But the real reason for its success in the hands of folk like Paddy Hopkirk was that most corners could be taken flat. Two new Cooper S models were introduced in 1964. Aimed at discrete motorsport classes, they had either a 970cc or 1275cc engine under the bonnet. The smaller engine car wasn't a huge hit and was discontinued in 1965 after fewer than 1,000 had been built. But the 1275cc model lasted until the entire range was bent in 1971. Built in September 1966, this UK market Mini Cooper S MKI was supplied with almond green coachwork and an Old English roof from new. With porcelain green upholstery with dove grey inserts inside, it was fitted with a heater, an auxiliary fuel tank, and an oil cooler from new. Sold by Moore and Baxter Limited of Edinburgh, it still wears its original registration number of FFG 927D today. A British Motor Industry Heritage Certificate is on file confirming its original factory specification, and it is thought to have been restored using a new body shell at some point, although we haven't been able to verify this. What is confirmed is significant recent expenditure in late 2018 on maintaining the integrity of its structure, work that should see it through the next couple of decades at least. Described by the boss as a very sweet example, it is being offered with a very sensible guide price and an even more sensible reserve. So, if you've ever fancied getting your hands on a genuine British motorsport icon, your time has come. The almond green and Old English white bodywork looks fabulous, which further reinforces the vendor's belief that it might well have been restored with a replacement body shell at some point. However, little is known of the Mini prior to 2011 other than a MO record that shows that it was in use between 2001 and 2010-11. It was then placed into storage, he thinks, before being taken out in May 2017 to be mowed again. November 2018 saw it being treated to a light restoration comprising new floor pins, a new seat crossmember, new inner and outer sills and jacking points plus many new mechanical components including refurbishment of the cooling and braking systems. All in all, the work costs $9,600 and the bills for the work, which detail what was done, can be seen here in the advert. It now looks absolutely superb and the way the panels have been aligned speaks of many long hours gently coaxing them into alignment. The panels are still in good shape too, with ripple-free flanks and good shot lines. The green and white paintwork looks superb, classic color schemes become so for a reason, and this one shows why so many modern metro cars are aping this two-tone look. The chromework is in great shape too, and gleams nicely even if there is a little rust starting on a few isolated areas such as the corners of the front bumper. Photos number 30, 75 and 76 will give you an idea of how minor this is though. The front and rear overriders on the corners of the bumpers add a welcome touch of flash, and the whole thing hangs together very convincingly. New number plates finish the whole ensemble off, and are supported by very good badges and light lenses, and we love the very of the period sliding side windows. Tiny steel wheels, which have been painted in the same shade of white as the roof, are topped with chrome hubcaps. They sit on 4 matching tires in the correct 145 Senior 10 size and, being Dunlop Aqua Jets, they are nice and chunky and still have plenty of tread left on them. As we will never tire of explaining, our experience shows that matching high-quality tires are an infallible sign of a caring and mechanically sympathetic owner who is prepared to spend the appropriate amount in maintaining their car properly. Their presence does not, of course, preclude the need for a thorough inspection, something the vendor would welcome, by the way, but it does perhaps give you a shortcut into their attitude towards maintenance. Blemishes are minor and seem to be restricted to, in the words of the boss, a few minor stone chips on the paint from its exceedingly minor use. Otherwise, it is very good. Please see photos number 53 and 54 to see what he's talking about. Trust us when we say that is high praise indeed and the sort of fulsome comment we'd kill for on our annual staff appraisal. The porcelain green and dove gray upholstery is in a terrific condition. It's another classic color combination and one that complements the almond green and Old English white coachwork to perfection. With firm and springy front seats, it's all clearly been refurbished in the car's recent past, too. The headlining is just as good, as are the C-pillar trims and the dashboard. The amount of space the Mini offers within such a tiny wheelbase never fails to amaze us. That's partly, of course, because there's not a great deal in there. And when you have so little to distract you, then what there is needs to be of the very highest quality, which is what you see here. The leather-rimmed Motolita steering wheel, for example, is new and suits the car's sporting nature to perfection. More Easter eggs abound, like the green-tipped indicator stalk, the wand-like gear lever, the pleated door cards, and the extended toggle switches that allow the driver to reach them without having to strain. The boot is absolutely solid and has been painted and carpeted very neatly. It's home to the steel spare wheel, which has been fitted with a new tire. There is also what looks suspiciously like a very recent battery. Work to do is minor. In fact, the only thing we can see that we'd be tempted to sort out is the carpet around the gear lever, which is a little crude. That said, less fastidious folk could probably live with it, even though it would be a very easy and cheap fix. The engine bay is neat and tidily presented. Obsessives might want to detail it further, but everyone else will be happy to leave it as it is. As you can see in the video, it starts well and thrums along on tick-over very happily. It revs nicely too, which is just as well as few cars thrive on revs like the Mini. The underside is, as you'd expect given that nigh on 5-figure bill, very solid and nicely presented. It's been nicely painted in almond green, and while it looks terrific, we can't help but think that a decent coat of underseal would be a worthwhile investment if you plan on using the Mini for anything more than the odd gentle summer run. Problems? Well, not a problem as such, but we do note that the car lacks the brake servo it would have been fitted with from new, and the suspension has been converted from the factory hydroelastic to dry suspension. The former is not unknown when an old Mini is being restored, and the latter is a common conversion. Neither would concern us unduly if we were thinking of bidding on it. The Mini doesn't have a current MO certificate, and while it is exempt by virtue of its age, we would strongly encourage the new owner to have the car remo'd at the earliest. The cost of an MO is a small investment when offset against the purchase and upkeep of any classic car, and it gives an independent, third-party assessment of the car's condition, which not only provides reassurance to the owner, and any subsequent purchasers, but might also be invaluable in the event of a bump when negotiating with the police and any interested insurance companies. That said, its MO history prior to this one running out in May 2018 was sparkling, so we wouldn't let the lack of a ticket put us off bidding in any way. Please visit the documents section of the gallery of this listing, where you will find photos of this and other paperwork to support our claim that this car has been restored to a very good standard. Everyone loves a 1275 Mini Cooper S, especially the early ones like this. Built in the year England won the World Cup, it is the embodiment of the British underdog spirit, and iconic cars such as this weather financial storms and social uncertainty better than most. When the market gets twitchy, it defaults to what it knows and loves, and few cars are as beloved as this. This makes them a solid investment, albeit one that does require fairly significant financial commitment up front. And yet, given the Bank of England has asked institutions to prepare for the possible introduction of negative interest rates in a few months, would you rather pay the bankers to keep your money on deposit, or invest something between $26,500 and $35,000 on buying this in the hope they'll continue to appreciate over the years? Inspection is always encouraged, within GOVT guidelines of course, and this particular car is located with us at the Market HQ near Abingdon. To arrange an appointment, please use the Contact Seller button at the top of the listing. Feel free to ask any questions or make observations in the comments section below, or try our frequently asked questions. If needed, please remember we have a network of trusted suppliers we work with regularly and can recommend: Classic and Sports Car Finance for purchase financing, Footman James for classic car insurance, Classic Concierge for storing your car, plus we have a list of contacts who can help with transport and shipping. Boring, but important, please note that whilst we at the market always aim to offer the most descriptive and transparent auction listings available, we cannot claim they are perfect analyses of any of the vehicles for sale. We offer far greater opportunity for bidders to view, or arrange inspections for each vehicle thoroughly prior to bidding than traditional auctions, and we never stop encouraging bidders to take advantage of this. We do take a good look at the vehicles delivered to our premises for sale, but this only results in our unbiased personal observations, not those of a qualified inspector or other professional, or the result of a long test drive. Also, localized paint repairs are common with collectible and classic cars, and if they have been professionally carried out, then they may be impossible to detect, even if we see the car in person. So, unless we state otherwise, please assume that any vehicle could have had remedial bodywork at some point in its life. Additionally, please note that most of the videos on our site have been recorded using simple cameras, which often result in average sound quality. In particular, engines and exhaust notes can sound a little different to how they are in reality. Please note that this is sold as seen, and that, as is normal for used goods bought at auction, return policy does not apply. See our FAQs for more info, and feel free to inspect any vehicle as much as you wish.